Hey you, I hope all of you are fine. Just wanted to share a small message with you all, and if with this message there is a chance of change, I think it will be good. It will be tremendously helpful to save life. Since I live at Hyderabad, I used to often go in and out of Hyderabad, and there are some beautiful destinations here and there. But one thing that I have noticed during my frequent journey is that, especially at the night time when I'm driving, then people here drive with their headlight position in the upper position. With their headlight open in the upper position. Actually, there are two modes for headlight. One is deeper, one is upper. Upper is basically used for an SOS, not for the normal use. And especially nowadays with the high definition bulb that is being added to the headlight as an extra accessories, the brightness is quite huge, and if somebody is driving at an by keeping the headlight in the upper position, it create a blind spot for the person who is coming in front of him. And even if a driver is blindfolded for, let us say, 4 or 5 seconds at a speed of 70 or 80 kilometer per hour, it can be catastrophic. And here in this particular part, I found to be quite a normal practice for all the drivers. I mean, majority of the drivers, obviously there are sensible drivers. Majority of the drivers keep their headlight on the upper position. So my request to all of you, to all my dear friends, to all my student community, if there is a driver at your home, if your dad is driving, if your cousin is driving, or someday will also be a driver, so please do let them know, do not put the headlight on the upper position. It is the deeper position which should be used for night driving. And if you are consistently driving by keeping the headlight on the upper position, it can create some real crack or fatigue in the eye of the driver which is coming in front of you, and it can create a blind spot, and it can be a massacre. So please spread this message. Please, you yourself communicate to the others. Let us create an awareness. Do not drive at night by keeping the headlight in the upper position. Please use it deeper at night. Thank you. Enjoy the video. So friends, welcome to all of you on your favorite channel, that is JE Physics Maniac. So today we are going to start a new topic, that is electric potential. After the finishing of Gauss law, we are heading on to this electric potential energy and the related things. And after that, we will move on to the self energy, and slowly the subsequent topics will come up. So without wasting much time, let us start. See, this term potential energy, this is uniquely linked to only one type of force, and that force is nothing but conservative force. This thing you have to keep in your mind. So potential energy is only defined for conservative forces. If the force is non-conservative, potential energy is not defined. That, like, we have heard about gravitational potential energy, we have heard about spring potential energy, but we have never heard about frictional potential energy because it's a non-conservative force. Hence, potential energy cannot be defined or linked with this such kind of force fields. Anyway, so when we are talking about this potential energy, what exactly it is about? In work, power and energy, we have studied that work done by a conservative force is equal to negative of change in potential energy. That is the most important thing that we have to keep in our mind. I am repeating again that work done by a conservative force is equal to negative of change in potential energy. So you have to keep it in our mind. So work done by a conservative force is equal to negative of change in potential energy. So how will I signify over here? Let us consider that there is a fixed charge of capital Q, and along this line from a long distance away, suppose from infinity, we are bringing a small charge q towards this capital Q, and there are some restrictions. What are the restrictions? We are considering that this small q is constrained to move along the straight line with constant speed. Now, point is, you will definitely ask me a question, sir, if this is plus q charge, when it is at considerable distance, then there will be a force of repulsion, which will not allow this charge to move with a constant speed. Yes, that's why I have written this word out here. If you can notice, I have said that is constrained to move. It is not freely moving. It is just constrained to move, right? So that means that there are two forces. When I say it is moving along a straight line with constant speed, that means if v is equal to constant, immediately I have to consider that acceleration of the charged particle is equal to 0. So when acceleration is equal to 0, F net, that is acting on the charged particle, is equal to 0. There are two forces acting. You have to keep in your mind. If there is, suppose at some instant of time, this plus q is at here and the intermediate separation between them is small r. So at this instant, on this small q, there is an outward force acting which is repulsive in nature, electrostatic, which will definitely try to slow down the particle. But to keep it moving with constant speed in the opposite direction, we have to apply an external force, that is F external, right? So in place of F net equal to 0, we will now write F electrostatic vector plus F external vector is equal to 0. So here we can write F electrostatic vector is equal to minus of F external vector, right? So now when I will calculate the work done here, so if I want to calculate work done by the external agent is equal to F external vector dot dr vector, right? If I have to calculate the work done by electrostatic force, I have to write F electrostatic vector dot dr vector. Now F electrostatic vector is known to us. It is simply K into capital Q small q divided by r square. Force is radially outward, r cap dr vector. So since dr vector is also radially outward, so I can write K capital Q small q divided by r square r cap dr into r cap. You see, I am taking r vector in that direction. Okay, right. So now here I will write K capital Q small q into, it is simply coming dr by r square. All right. If I integrate this result over here, work done by electric field will come to be K capital Q small q integration of dr by r square. If I am bringing this charge from infinite distance to a distance r, limit is infinity to r. So as a result, work done by electric field will become dr by r square is equal to minus 1 by r. So it will become minus of K capital Q small q divided by r, right? So now we know what we know. We know that work done by electric field is equal to negative of change in potential energy, which is equal to minus of K capital Q small q divided by r. So this minus sign cancels out. So that is delta U means U final minus U initial, that is equal to plus of K capital Q small q by r. Now since the particle is chosen to be at infinity, so U initial is equal to 0. So here U final means potential energy at a separation r. We know that all the potential energy is a function of position only. Remember that. So U function of r becomes KQQ by r. So this is the form that we need to remember. So I have shown you the derivation, how we can derive the result. I hope you will remember this, and please try to remember each and every concept that I am dealing out here. Okay, all right, fine. So potential energy as a function of r, how much you are getting? K capital Q small q divided by r. Let's move on. The next term that we are seeing here is potential. What is potential? Potential is nothing but it is electrostatic potential is equal to potential energy per unit charge. Potential energy per unit charge. Which charge you are talking about here? We are talking about that small q. So it is a fundamental property of the field itself. Remember, potential is directly linked to the field. It is linked to the field. And which charge was generating the field here? The charge was being generated by capital Q, in which small q was moved. So this is equal to K capital Q small q divided by R divided by small q. So potential as a function of R, we got K capital Q divided by R. This is also a point to be remembered. All right, fine, correct. Immediately we will have the relation between field and potential, and this relation basically we will derive from that equation that we have written. What we have written? Ki work done by a conservative force is equal to negative of change in potential energy. If I write it in differential terms, we will write dW conservative is equal to minus of du. Here conservative force means we are talking about electrostatic force. So dW electrostatic is equal to minus of du. dW electrostatic equal to, we can write F electrostatic into dr is equal to minus of du. We know F electrostatic can be written as small q into capital E, E being the field intensity, dot dr is equal to minus of du. So here we can write E dot dr is equal to minus of du by q. We have just learned that du by q, potential energy per charge is potential. So this will become minus dv. Pardon me. This is minus dv. So from there we can get the relation, and that relation is coming to be electric field intensity is equal to minus of dv dr. It's a very significant relationship that we have to remember. All right, all of you have to remember. But for a three-dimensional space, potential energy will be given as, it's a function of x, y and z. So when it is varying in 3 dimension, we cannot write directly like that. We have to write in terms of partial differentiation. We have to write Ex is equal to minus of del V del x, Ey is equal to minus of del V del y, and Ez is equal to minus of del V del z. So in that case, E vector on a total will be written as minus of del V del x I cap minus of del V del y j cap minus of del V del y k cap, right? So on a gross, it is denoted as E vector is equal to minus gradient of potential energy V. Okay. And regarding this nebula, I have already introduced to all of you in one of my lecture in Field of Physics series. Okay. In differential form of Gauss law, I have introduced about this gradient function. So you know that. So electric field for a three-dimensional space will be given by minus of del V del x I cap minus of del V del y j cap minus of del V del z k cap. And if there is a positive charge kept at the center, what you have to remember, in the direction of electric field, potential decreases. Okay, now that is the significance of this negative sign we are getting here. The significance of this negative sign is basically in the direction of electric field, potential decreases. So let us go into a few examples quickly. You see this application here. We have three axes here, x, y and z. All right. There are 3 points. This is one point, this is the other point, and this is the other point. In these 3 points, they have mentioned that the potential value is 8 volt, 8 volt and 8 volt, and the coordinates of the points are given 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So along x, y and z axis, all these points are unit distance away. So this is 1, and this is also 1. And one more point is mentioned, that the center potential is 10 volt. Correct? They are asking the question, find the potential at point 1, 1, 1. How to conceptualize this question? Please try to understand. The first point I will take here, we can see at the center it is 10 volt and we are moving along x, y and z, potential is decreasing. So along x, y and z, potential is decreasing. That means electric field E vector is radially outward. That means electric field is in radially outward direction, like this. It is in this direction, in radially outward direction, like this. Okay, all right, fine, no problem. So first duty is to calculate that electric field. What we know Ex is equal to minus of del V del X, Ey is equal to minus of del V del Y, and Ez is equal to minus of del V del Z. So if I apply that along x-axis first, try to understand. I am writing Ex is equal to minus of del V, change in potential. Final potential at this point is 8 volt. So within bracket 8 volt minus potential at the center is how much? 10 volt, divided by what is this distance? 1. So minus of minus 2 means it is becoming plus 2. So if Ex is plus 2, all other value remains same. That means Ey is also plus 2 and Ez is also plus 2. So what is the electric field vector you are getting here? E vector is equal to, we got 2i cap plus 2j cap plus 2k cap. That is the electric field value that we got. Fine, no problem. So far so good. So what they are asking, I have to get potential at point 111. Now what will I do? Once I know the electric field, now I will apply the same formula again between this center and this point 111. So let us apply. So now between 0, 0, 0 and 1, 1, 1, if we apply this formula, we will write dV is equal to minus E vector dot dr once again. So you see here, E vector is already known to us, that is 2i cap plus 2j cap plus 2k cap. Dr vector, 2 points are mentioned. So how to write dr vector? A quick recap to all of you. How will I write? We will write it as x2 minus x1 I cap. So that will become 1 minus 0 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap, that is again 1 minus 0 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap, that is again 1 minus 0 k cap. So I'll write dot 1 I cap plus 1 j cap plus 1 k cap. So it becomes minus I dot I1, j dot j1, k dot k1. So it becomes minus 6. So dV means potential at point 111 minus potential at the center is 10, that is equal to minus 6. So what is the potential at point 111? We get to be 4 volt. And that's the final answer to this question. So that's a very simple and subtle application of the formula E equal to minus dV dr. I hope all of you have understood, right? If not, then you can just go back and listen to the lecture again and again so that it becomes clear. Chalo, let's move on. Okay, next example I have picked from the famous book of Shashi Bhushan Tiwari. Okay, so there one electric field is given, V function 1 by x plus 1 by y 2 by z, where x, y and z are in meter. It has a charge q is equal to this, mass equal to this, and is constrained to move along xy plane. Find the initial acceleration of the particle if released at 111. How to solve? It's very simple. It is again based on this formula, that is E is equal to minus of del V del x I cap, y minus del because it is a function of x, y and z, minus of del V del y j cap and minus of del V del z k cap. So now if I take the differentiation, then E vector, it will become, simply it is coming to be 1 by x square, minus minus will become plus I cap, plus 1 by y square j cap plus 2 by z square k cap. Correct? Now the given point is 1, 1, 1. So if I apply x equal to 1, y equal to 1, z equal to 1, it will become I cap plus j cap plus 2k cap, and that's what the electric field is at this point. Correct? Fine. So now force equal to, and they're saying that it is constrained to move in xy plane, so this particular z component will not generate any force. So since the particle is constrained to move along xy plane, so force will be equal to only q into ex I cap plus of ey j cap, and that precisely is how much? That is becoming q of I cap plus j cap. All right. So the moment we got the force, it is very easy to get the acceleration. Acceleration is equal to force vector by mass. So that is q by m into I cap plus j cap. You have the value of q and m. You can substitute and get the answer for the acceleration, right? Let's move on. Next one. So there they are saying that it is again chosen from the same reference, that there is a metal plate, m is grounded, and this concept I will come to later actually, this grounding concept. All the thing that as of now we have to remember that whenever a metal plate is grounded, charge and potential on the outer surface will become zero. Anyway, so a plus q charge is kept at here. So when the plus q charge is kept, it being a metal plate, immediately it will induce negative charge over here. All right, it will induce negative charge over here. So the moment it is inducing negative charge, and we know that in this case the field line will be originating from plus q to minus q like this, right? Okay, so this is the shape of the field line we will get. Fine. And they are asking what? They are asking that there are 2 points A and B where the field is stronger. Now it is a very simple answer. You can try to understand that when you are thinking about point A, think about point A. So as these field lines are going to this surface, it is the number of field lines is becoming lesser, or I can say that field line density is more near the point A in comparison to the point B. So if the field line is more near point A, so you can clearly write that EA is greater than EB. Correct? Fine. And one more point, we know that in the direction of field, potential reduces. That also we have learned. So this field is directed from left to right. The field is directed from left to right. All right. Field is directed in that direction. So in that direction, A point comes first, then B comes. So definitely V at point A will be more than potential at point B. So that's your answer for the question. Correct? Let's move on. Next, what they're saying, that there is a very delicate thing they're asking. They're saying that in a potential field, potential gradient is given by Vxy. Sorry, potential is given by minus of k into x square minus y square. Sketch the field line. So that's a very interesting thing. How we can sketch the field line? It's a very rare concept. You will rarely find the proper thing in any of the study material available. So please listen to me very carefully. How we can do it? So the first thing is that we will try to get the field. So minus k of x square minus y square. So what is the x component of electric field? It is equal to minus of del v del x. How much will you get? We get minus of minus plus 2kx. What about Ey? Ey is equal to minus of del v del y, that is equal to this minus minus plus again minus. So minus of 2ky. Correct? Sketch the field line means it will be a curve represented by y as a function of x. All right. So for that curve, slope will be equal to tan theta. That is equal to nothing but dy dx, which is equal to Ey by Ex. How we can write that? Try to understand. Suppose I'm taking a curve, a random curve here. This is a field line. If it is a field line, in that direction, we will get the direction of electric field. All of you, please listen to me very carefully. So this is the x component of electric field. This is Ex. And this is the y component of electric field. This is Ey. So now in this curve, if I draw slope, this is the slope. So this is dy and this small portion is dx, and here this angle you are seeing here theta. So if you think about this triangle now, all of you check, this is theta, this angle is theta, this is dy and this is dx. So tan theta is coming to be dy dx, and at the same time this is Ex and this one is Ey. So at the same time tan theta is equal to Ey by Ex. So I hope this thing is clear to all of you. Now as per the question, how much we got? Ex equal to 2kx, Ey equal to minus 2ky. So let us move on. So here dy dx is equal to Ey is minus of 2ky and Ex is 2kx. So if I cancel these two terms, so basically dy dx we are getting minus of y by x. So we can write it in this way, कि dy by y is equal to minus of dx by x. Okay. So after integrating, we can write log of y plus log of x equal to integration constant log of c. So from there xy is equal to, we are getting constant. So this is the equation of the trajectory. So xy is equal to constant. That means x is proportional to 1 by y. So when xy equal to constant, we can comfortably draw the lines. So let us first try to draw the lines. So I will take like this. This is our y-axis. This is the x-axis. I will name them. So I am taking this as x and this as y. So in all the coordinates, I will draw the lines. So this is the kind of line we will get. If not, even it is perfect, consider them to be near accurate. Okay. This is the line we are drawing, xy equal to constant. All right, like this. Now, we are not sure about the direction. So for that, we will quickly write Ex is equal to, how much we got? We got 2kx, and Ey is equal to, we got minus 2ky. So here in this particular quadrant, this is first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is fourth quadrant. So all of us know that in the first quadrant both x and y are positive. So in this quadrant, x positive, y is also positive. So if x is positive, as per this, Ex is positive, isn't it? Ex is positive. As per this, Ex is positive. So this is positive. So this is Ex. If y is positive, then Ey is negative, because plus and minus will become minus. So this is the direction of Ey. So Ex rightward, Ey in the downward direction. So what is the net electric field? This is the E vector. Correct? So what will be the direction? This, this, this. As we know, if you draw a tangent on any field line, it will give the direction of electric field. So for all this field line, this is the electric field. So first quadrant is over. Let us come to the second quadrant. We know here x is negative and y is positive. So if x is negative, as per this equation, Ex equal to 2kx, x negative means Ex is negative. So Ex will be in the leftward direction. This is Ex. If y is positive, then Ey is negative because Ey equal to minus 2ky. So it will be in downward direction. So this is Ey. So net electric field will be in this direction. That is E vector. So what is the direction we are get? This is the kind of direction, because you draw a tangent here. This is the direction of electric field you get. All right. Let us come to the third quadrant. Here in the third quadrant, x is negative, y is also negative. So if x is negative, automatically Ex becomes negative. So Ex is along this line here. What about Ey? If y is negative, Ey becomes positive. So that is the direction of Ey. So what is the direction of net electric field? This is the direction of net electric field. So then here the direction is like this. All right. Come to the fourth quadrant. Here x is positive, but y is negative. So if x is positive, then definitely Ex is also positive. If y is negative, Ey equal to minus 2ky means Ey will become positive. So what is the direction of net electric field? This is the direction of net electric field. So here this is the arrow. Correct? So that's all. I hope you have learned few new things today and you have enjoyed. Stay tuned. We are shortly coming up with the next video where I will discuss about the equipotential surface, and there will be many more regarding this potential energy and potential application. Thank you very much. Thanks all.